Today I will explain about fluorescence microscopy. Fluorescence microscopy is based on the principle of fluorescence that was given by Sir George G. Stokes in 1852. When he illuminated a piece of feldspar with UV rays, it emitted red wavelength, red light. Okay, I'll explain about this. That is known as stroke effect, and I will explain this stroke effect in the later slide. So what you need to understand for now is what is fluorescence microscopy. The microscopy which is based on the concept of fluorescence. And in fluorescence microscopy, the specimen that you are observing is either naturally fluorescent or it is tagged with a fluorochrome. That means the fluorescent dye. And another special feature of fluorescence microscopy is that the microscope, they contain a special kind of mirror known as dichroic mirror that allows a certain wavelength of light only to pass through it. Okay, and second important or the special feature of fluorescence microscope is that it uses two set of filter. One is excitation filter and another one is the emission filter, also called as barrier filter. So this excitation filter allows, both these filter allow only a certain range or a certain wavelength of light to pass through it and block the rest of the wavelengths. Okay, and these are very important for a fluorescence microscope. And I'll explain it with a diagram. So this is the picture of a fluorescence microscope. So this is the microscope, and over here is the ocular lens, and we can see the image by directly through eye, or sometimes what happens, it is this ocular device, it is coupled with a CCD, charged coupled device, and that is further attached to a screen. So instead of looking directly into the microscope to visualize the image, what we can see it on the screen. Okay, so most frequently screens are coupled with this microscope to visualize the final image. So in fluorescence microscopy, it is based on the concept, as I already told, it is based on the concept of fluorescence. So what is fluorescence? So what happens, this is the orbital diagram of an atom. Okay, so this is a fluorochrome. What is happening over here is the specimen, which either it is fluorescent, autofluorescent, or it is tagged with the fluorochrome. So what happens when you fall a particular wavelength of light on it, so its electron, they absorb that light, and they jump to the higher orbital. Due to the absorbed energy, they become excited and they jump to the higher orbital. So this is happening here. So suppose we illuminate a particular wavelength of light on an atom on this fluorochrome. So what happens, the electrons, they absorb this light which is falling on it, and they jump to the higher orbital. Now what happens, this is just happening for the fraction of a second. So when it comes back, this electron comes back to its original orbital state, it emits a certain wavelength, it emits energy, but this energy is less as compared to the energy that was used for illumination. So this electron absorbs energy, it jumps to the higher orbital state, it becomes excited and jumps to the higher orbital state, and when this electron fall back to its original orbital position, it emits that energy. So this emitted energy, it is being basically captured over here in this microscope to form the image. This principle is known as Stokes effect, after its discoverer, Sir George Stokes. Okay, so this is known as fluorescence. So when this emitted energy, when it comes back to original state, the energy that is emitted, that comes in the form of fluorescence, and this is the principle of this fluorescence microscopy. Okay, when you, suppose your specimen it is autofluorescent, then it is fine. But if your specimen is not fluorescent, you need to tag it with some fluorochrome or a fluorescent dye. So these are the dyes that are used for tagging. And depending on which dye we are going to use will depend upon which part of the cell you are going to you want to visualize. It is different for chromosomes, it is different for nucleus, it is different for some other organelle, like you want to visualize chloroplast or mitochondria. So it depends upon which portion of the cell you are going to see the wavelength of the light that you will be using for excitation. Okay, so these are the ranges. Suppose if we are using this Indo 1 calcium, so this is the excitation wavelength and this is the emission wavelength. That means this is this wavelength, excitation wavelength, that we are using to illuminate the specimen, and emission wavelength is the wavelength that we get to see when this light is emitted when the electron jump back to its original state. So this will be better understood by the its ray diagram. So this is the ray diagram. So here this is the light source, it's either a xenon or xenon or arc. So from here light is emitted. So as you can see, here is an excitation filter that allows only a particular wavelength of light to pass through it and block the rest of the wavelength. So it depends what wavelength it is going to allow to pass through it. It depends upon the fluorochrome that you're going to use over here, that you have tagged with specimen. For example, suppose if I am using Alexa 406, so what excitation wavelength we need to pass? 401 nanometer. Okay, so it will block all other radiation, it will allow only to pass 401 nanometer wavelength of light. Okay, from here this excitation filter. So after this is a light source, light is emitted from the light source, it is passed through the excitation filter that is going to block all other radiation except for 401 if you're using Alexa dye. So this wavelength that will enter into the microscope over here, that will get hit by the dichroic mirror. So in this slanting position there is a dichroic mirror that will reflect this light towards the specimen. So this light will go down, it will pass through this objective lens and hit the specimen. Okay, so now what is happening in this specimen? Same thing it is happening. Fluorochrome's electron, they will get excited, they will absorb the incoming light, they will get excited to the higher orbital. Now when these electrons fall back to its original ground state, they will emit a certain different wavelength of light, with less energy. So this emitted light that will again pass through the objective lens over here, and that will go to the dichroic mirror, that will be reflected further towards another set of barrier called as emission filter. So this light, it is passed from here. So what is the function of this emission filter? It's a barrier filter. It will block other residual beams, and it will allow only the emitted wavelength that we want to visualize. Suppose in case of Alexa 1, it is 421 nanometer. So it will allow only a wavelength of 421 nanometer to pass from here, and it will block rest of the lights, residual beams due to reflection. Okay, so this wavelength, this is the eyepiece, and this will pass from here, and the final image will be formed behind the ocular lens, and that will be visualized either by the eye or the CCD, charged coupled device camera, that is further coupled to a screen from where we can see the final image that is obtained by this fluorescent microscope. So this is all about the ray diagram of this fluorescence microscopy. So just a quick recap what is happening. Here a light source is placed from where light is emitted, and this light, it is passed through this excitation filter which block all other light. Only a particular wavelength of light will be allowed to pass through it, that will be reflected by this dichroic mirror towards the objective lens, and from this objective lens it will fall into the sample. In sample, fluorescence will be produced because the electrons, they will be excited by absorption of energy, and then when they will fall back to the original position, they will emit certain other wavelength of light that will be collected again by the objective lens, that will be passed towards the dichroic mirror, and this dichroic mirror will reflect this emitted wavelength towards the emission filter, which is going to blow, which will allow only a particular wavelength, the emitted wavelength of the light to pass through it, and that will be further magnified by the ocular lens, and the final image is visualized over here either by eye, more frequently that is equipped with a CCD, charged camera device, and that is further coupled with a screen in which you are going to visualize the images that are found in the fluorescent microscope. So this is all about the fluorescence microscopy, which is based on the concept of fluorescence that is produced by the fluorochromes.